how to remove an old PVC door and replace it with a composite door. You need to ensure that the area is completely clear and clean. Identify all of the screws which are holding the panel to the door and the frame itself. Make sure that each one of those screws is removed in turn. Now do be careful, because there can be quite a lot of screws. Sometimes screws can be going from the panel into the wall, and sometimes screws are going from the door into the side panel itself. Just be sure to identify each and every one of those and remove them as you go. You do need to make sure that you have used all of your safety goggles and your safety gloves. Once you have removed all of those screws, you can see here then that you're going to start removing the glass. The glass panel can be removed by removing all of the brackets which are holding the glass in place. This technical word is beading, but some people call them brackets as well. So we remove the bottom one here as well. You can see that the panel has been removed. Next thing is to ensure that any areas where there may be remaining screws are identified and those screws removed. Next you move on then to removing the strip. Next you move on to the strip which is between the two doors. It's a coupling, and that can be removed. Usually there will be quite a lot of mastic or silicone. It just depends on what the original fitter used at the time. So you continue to remove the panel. Once the panel is removed, you can see then that you know exactly what you're dealing with. And once you know what you're dealing with and what areas you need to identify that need clearing, the cleanup begins. Just do make sure that when you are fitting a new door, remove an old door, fit a new one, clean as you go, because otherwise you will be in your own way. So the cleaning process starts, and after the cleaning process continues, you will make sure then that if there's making sure that you use a chisel to clear out any lumps of concrete or loose brickwork or blockwork which may be there, which may be hindering the door to be fitted itself. The threshold again is very, very important, that you need to identify that the new door frame will fit in. You need to bring back that concrete, so you can use a concrete bolster and a hammer and tidy all of that off. If you need to go a little bit deeper, higher, wider, if it needs an extra wide piece or it's just proving to be extra tough, you can use a small Kango there to do that. Next thing is you just pop the door frame in, just to ensure that the measurements are correct and that it's squaring off properly, and that you don't need to remove any more pieces of concrete from underneath with your Kango. So you have to get the coupling joint together there, which is the bracket that will hold the door and the frame together. You can see there that the lads needed to ensure that the ground was just a little bit wider for the door itself. And they had to remove the coupler there. Now there's a few different areas that you will deal with this, but generally it's straightforward. So the coupling bar there is just a little bit too long. You need to just measure there to make sure that you have the right length, and use a handsaw, hacksaw. It doesn't really matter. You can use a grinder, but make sure and use your safety equipment to measure back. You can see now how Andrew has brought back just the tiny slips on the end, ensuring that they're going back up to the marker line only. This will ensure that it fits snugly in and that the frame and the side light fit together. There's no areas of concern here, just do be extra careful. So you can see then he's just moved the little slips up out of the way so as it can get the grinder in very level and straight. Once he has got that all down and he has it right to the right depth, he will pop it back onto the frame itself. You can just see how he ensures that it's the right length and that everything fits together snugly. So this has just the opening, so it's flattened the ridges are removed. So as you can see now that it actually sits right down along. You can see that this is still slightly long. So he's gone back in and tidied it up again. So now you can see how it sits down into the frame and sits flat along the edge. Still a little bit too long there, so he'll measure it off and he'll use the grinder to ensure that it's cut off completely level and that it's all level. Now he will put the coupling on the door frame itself. And you can see that it's nice and snug and tight fit. And perfectly level on the bottom. There it is, all ready to go. So now he will be getting that ready to screw completely down, all the way down. Next, the side light and the frame are screwed together. You do need to make sure that this is completely square, completely level. So you are sure that it's completely square and level, then you remove it and then you put your filling foam in between the two. Next, you put it back up together again. Now ensure that you use clamps to give a good tight fit and to ensure that the foam seals in all the joints and makes it airtight as well. So you screw it together all the way up. There is such thing as overkill on these, so just put in the required amount and the amount that would have been given to you with your supplier. Once you have it all screwed together and give it a few minutes for the foam to dry, then the door and the frame and the side light can all go in together. So you can use your fixing screws or brackets, whichever one you've chosen for fitting your door, and ensure that your door and frame is securely screwed to the wall and the floor and up into the ceiling part, so the threshold and the sill as well. You can then make sure that all of the areas are clear and clean. Once that has been done, you can then put your foam all around. Use low expansion foam when you're fitting these doors as well, which is another important area. Now your door is put onto its place and all the adjustments are done. Once the foam has dried, you can just cut it off level with the door itself on the outside as well. You can then make sure that you remove all of the film that comes with it, and here you have your brand new door. So that's our fitting guide from your old to your new. Thanks for watching. You have been watching Online Door and Window Designer. So www.compositedoorsandpvcwindows.ie, or you can email us at info@compositedoorsandpvcwindows.ie.